welcome back to my channel and welcome back to another video. I am so excited to share today's recipes with you. I have 4 chicken dinners that come together pretty quickly and they are mostly family friendly. I absolutely love these dishes. My family love them, so I hope you will too. And without further ado, let's cook some chicken. All right, so to get us started with this week's recipes, we're making a barbecue chicken casserole. This is so good, you guys. So it starts with a box of rigatoni pasta. Use whatever short pasta you want. Just make sure you cook it until it's about 2 minutes underdone. Then I am using just the breast of my rotisserie chicken, just shredding that up. And then over to the pot, I am going to put in my pasta along with a 15-ounce can of corn, 10 ounces of Rotel, 7-ounce green chili, 3 cups of the shredded chicken, 1 tablespoon of dried minced onion, 1 cup of ranch dressing, which I actually didn't have any more in the bottle, so I just used sour cream and mixed it with this ranch packet, 3/4 of a cup of barbecue sauce, and 2.5 cups of cheddar cheese. And you're just gonna give that a really good stir, and you will see some real life mess in about a second here. I am not always as graceful as you would think. I could have easily edited this part out, but I decided to keep it in to kind of make you feel a little bit less alone if this is how you are in the kitchen. So I am also adding in a 6-ounce bag of chopped bacon. You can also use a 1/2 cup of regular cooked bacon. Now over to our casserole dish. I'm just giving it a good spray with my nonstick spray, just dumping in the entire mixture right on top and make sure it's not in a nice even layer. And then we're gonna top it with some more cheese because why not? It is never too much cheese in a casserole dish. So I would say that's about a 1/2 cup of cheese that I sprinkled on top. Now we're just going to cover that with some aluminum foil, cook it in our preheated oven at 375 for 25 minutes. And here is what it comes out like. You guys, this is so good. It's just got so much flavor in it, and there is a very little prep that comes with this. So I hope that you give this one a try because it was absolutely delicious and my family adored it. Next up is a classic. It is a chicken and rice dish that we make right on the stovetop. Comes together in less than an hour and tastes so good. So we're going to start with 1 yellow onion, 1 red, 1 green bell pepper, and 3 cloves of minced garlic. Now over to our cutting board. Now I don't know about you, but I hate when there is too much fat on my chicken thigh. So I always trim it, and you don't have to, but I love trimming it because it's a presentation thing. I am all about what food looks like, and it makes it look a lot better. So anyways, I trimmed off the fat, and then I'm just going to season it with some all-purpose seasoning, and I'm going to use a teaspoon of paprika, and we're just going to rub that right into the skin and do the exact same thing on the other side. Now that that's all rubbed in, let's get our hands nice and washed because we always want to wash our hands in between touching chicken. Now over to our stovetop, I am going to be putting in about a tablespoon of olive oil, and we're just going to saute our onions and bell peppers for about a minute, and then just put in a little salt and pepper. And then we are going to just saute that for about 3 to 4 minutes or until the onions are nice and translucent. And of course, we need to add in a couple more seasonings here. So a teaspoon each of onion powder, Italian seasoning, and adobo. Give that a really good stir. And then we're going to add in our garlic. We always want to add in our garlic at this point because we don't want it to burn. So give that a good mix and cook that for about another 30 seconds or until the garlic is nice and fragrant. And I have 1/3 cup of white wine. This is totally optional. If you do not like the flavor of white wine in your dishes, you can totally omit that. that. Now here, I completely should have cooked the chicken first and not the vegetables, but you know, I had one of those moments again. So I am going to just cook the chicken now. All you're gonna do is brown the chicken. So make sure that when you put it in your pan, you put it down, skin side down. And then once it is ready to be flipped, the skin will be a nice, beautiful golden color. And then you're gonna just cook it another 3 minutes on the other side. So after the chicken is removed from the pan, we're going to go ahead and add those veggies right back in. And then I'm going to add in 2 cups of long grain white rice. It is rinsed, and then just blast that for about a minute. All that means is cooking the rice a little bit longer without any liquid in it yet. Now we're going to pour in 4 cups of chicken stock, and now we're just going to give that a really nice stir and nestle in each one of the chicken thighs and bring to a simmer, and then cover for about 25 minutes or until the rice is nice and fluffy and ready to eat. Garnish it with some fresh chopped parsley, and this is such an incredible dish. I mean, seriously, look at how good this looks. Talk about comfort food. This is probably my absolute favorite chicken and rice recipe of all time, and the family loves it too. Now for this next recipe, it's kind of a food mashup. I absolutely loved it. It is chicken enchi-lasagna. It is inspired by the Pioneer Woman. Her recipes are amazing, so I had to give this one a try. So I have got about 1.5 pounds of chicken breast. I am just seasoning it up with a teaspoon each of chili powder, garlic powder, and ground cumin. Just give that a really good rub and make sure it's distributed evenly on both sides of the chicken. And then, of course, we are just going to cook this right on the stovetop. I've got about a tablespoon of olive oil. Just going to cook it for about 4 to 5 minutes per side until it is nice and cooked through. Now for the cheese mixture, I have 24 ounces of cottage cheese here, and I am going to be putting in this entire bag of Monterey Jack, which is about 2 cups of shredded Monterey Jack, another teaspoon each of ground cumin, garlic powder, and chili powder, and then 1 egg to bind it all together. Give that a really good stir until it's very well combined. Now, of course, our chicken, I am just flipping it over and cooking it and finishing it up. Once it's done, I am just shredding it up with 2 forks. This way they are nice bite-sized pieces, but you can always dice them up too if you wanted. Now over to our baking pan, I am going to just spray it with some nonstick spray. And then we are using red and green enchilada sauce. I'm just going to pour a little bit of each on the bottom. And then we're just going to put our chicken along with these oven-ready lasagna noodles. I swear these things are the best inventions since sliced bread. Seriously. I just broke off a little piece so it all fit perfectly. And now put your cheese on top. And then you are just going to continue this process and layering until you are completely out of sauce, chicken, and cheese. Course, what is an enchilada without cheddar cheese? So I'm just going to put about a cup of cheddar right on top, and then I'm just going to drizzle the rest of the red and green enchilada sauce all over. Cover it up with some foil. Cook it at 375 degrees for about 45 minutes or until those noodles are nice and tender. This is what it looks like right out of the oven. Oh my goodness, I just topped it with some diced tomatoes, some feta cheese, and cilantro. This was so good. I'm telling you, I've never made a mashup food quite like this, and I'm so happy that I did because it was absolutely incredible. So for our final recipe this week, we are making a chicken francaise. This is my favorite dish of all time. It is an Italian classic. It's a lemon chicken battered with egg, absolutely delicious. So I am just serving it up with some broccoli florets. I just cut up some broccoli and I'm just going to steam it in my steamer basket. I'm gonna just season it up with a little bit of salt and pepper. And it steams for roughly about 10 or 15 minutes until it's nice and tender. Now over to our assembly line, I'm going to beat 3 eggs together, and I've got here about 4 tablespoons of flour. And last but not least, I have about 1.5 pounds of thinly sliced chicken breast here. Make sure that the chicken breast is nice and thin. This way it cooks up a heck of a lot faster. Now I am just going to dredge it first in the flour and then transfer it over to the egg. And I am going to repeat this process until all of the chicken is coated. Now over to our stove, I have about 1.5 tablespoons of oil and 1 tablespoon of butter. I'm just going to melt that, and little tip here, if you take the back end of a wooden spoon and dip it into the oil and it bubbles up around it, that means your oil is ready to go. The secret of getting the egg mixture to stick to this chicken is the oil being hot enough. If the oil is not hot enough, it won't stick and it will all fall apart. So trust me, you want that oil to be hot enough. We're just going to be cooking it until the egg is cooked. You do not have to worry about cooking the chicken cutlets through because that will finish cooking in the sauce that we are about to make. Once you've removed all of the chicken from the pan, we're going to add in 2 tablespoons of flour, 1 tablespoon more of butter, and just make sure you cook that for about a minute until all the clumps are gone. And then deglaze the pan with 1/3 cup of white wine and get all of those bits from the bottom. And then gradually add in a cup of chicken broth. I used a whisk to make sure I got all of the clumps. Season it up with some salt and pepper. Now we're just going to squeeze in the juice of 1 whole lemon. Once that comes up to a simmer, we're going to add back in the chicken and simmer this on low for about another 10 minutes or until the chicken is nice and cooked through. And I did also put in a few extra slices of lemon because I absolutely love the lemon flavor, and why not? And then I just garnished it with some fresh chopped parsley. This is what it comes out like. I just drizzled on some juice. I am telling you guys, this is my favorite dish of all time. I remember the very first time that I made this dish. It was probably the very first Italian dish that I ever made, and it came out so good. It always comes out so good. This recipe is my favorite recipe, so I hope that you enjoy it the way that I have always enjoyed it. All right. right, you guys, so that's gonna do it for today's video. I hope that you found a recipe that your family will love. I know that my family adored all of these chicken dishes. I appreciate you being here so much. I hope you had an amazing holiday this past week, and I wish you the very happiest of New Year's. Thank you for being here. If you enjoyed it, of course, as always, I would love to have you, so hit that red subscribe button down below, and I will see you guys in the next video.